see you, Senator. I'll get to the political meltdown in a minute, but let's begin with the results of that meltdown. Key takeaways from former special counsel Robert Hur's hearing yesterday. Biden was not exonerated, even though no charges were filed against him. Biden met criteria that qualified as, breaking the law. Biden spent decades stashing classified information and illegally divulged them to those bits of information to a ghostwriter. And last week, when I interviewed President Trump, I asked if Biden and Hillary's mishandling of classified information should have damage assessments done if he wins the White House, and her revealing that the intelligence community is allegedly doing a damage assessment on Biden's decades-long illegal breaches of national security. What can you do, Senator, to make sure that America gets the unclassified version of that damage once it's assessed?
Well, Chris, I think, first of all, ultimately we need power and control of the Senate to be able to do those types of hearings that you're describing. But regardless, Americans know that Joe Biden had a brazen disrespect for the law, that he was smuggling out of classified briefings documents that were top secret and then held on them for years. They also saw that there was certainly plenty of legal information there that proved that he broke the law, and they're wondering why there is this double standard. And then lastly, they saw and they asked themselves, just how senile is Joe Biden that despite all this evidence, they're not going to press any charges. So America is going to see this, and ultimately it's up with America what to do with this evidence come November.
Well, there's growing outrage over something else that Joe Biden is doing, funding illegal alien flights into the United States and flights within the United States. Here is Polk County Sheriff in Florida detailing an alleged illegal alien sex trafficking ring utilizing taxpayer-funded flights. Watch.
They said that when they came into the country illegally, DHS gave them a form, an ID, paperwork that allows them to fly for free. Southwest would let your bags fly free. Well, the federal government will let your illegal immigrants fly free. They tell us that they fly to major metro centers for free on the federal government, where they set up their appointments for sex all around the country.
Wow. Senator, not only does whistleblower testimony say that our own government is delivering innocent children into sex slavery and good old-fashioned slavery, now our government is using our money to fund flights for sex trades so human traffickers can get rich. Now, you've proposed a bill cracking down on airlines transporting illegal aliens. Tell us about your proposal, End Aerial Invasion Act.
Right. So essentially, Joe Biden has flown in at least 300,000 illegal aliens, and they use the CBP-1 app as their ID. So they don't really have a driver's license. They don't have a passport. And we need to all realize that these people were never vetted properly. So not only is it for free, my bigger concern is they're jeopardizing the safety of the other Americans that are on that plane. And what our bill would do is to shut down those airlines' ability to fly into DCA if they participate in this type of operation, using the CBP-1 app as a form of identification.
Understood. I'm hoping it gets a majority of the Congress's attention too, Senator, because I got to be honest with you, American taxpayer dollars shouldn't be delivering children into sex slavery into the United States. I think that sickens most people. Today, the House passing a bill that could ban or divest Chinese-owned social media app TikTok. It now heads to the Senate, where you're going to get a crack at it. This as bipartisan lawmakers sound the alarm on the national security threats that this bill might carry, warning this bill doesn't empower government to target China necessarily, but empowers our own government to target Americans. Can you amend this bill in conference to make sure Communist China and other enemy nations are the target and not American companies and citizens?
Well, look, I think that's what our job is, to take a good bill and make it better. But the big picture here remains the same, that TikTok is just another branch of the CCP's military. This is their espionage and their propaganda branch. So they use this to brainwash our children, and then they save information that can and will be used against us later in life, perhaps, to compromise people in the future, using it as a bribery scheme. So we need to do something. We need to react to China. We need to send some type of blow across their bow, and this is one way we can do it. So we'll be fighting to amend this bill to make it even better, make it even stronger.
Okay, Senator, last thing. You know, people are voting all over the country. It's a political question. As you know, GOP retreat. Less than 100 Republicans are expected to attend. This amid mounting infighting and division in the entire caucus. You heard my expanded intro. The GOP caucus can't even agree to oppose Democrats. I say it's because the GOP has no unifying principles. The Republican Party has an identity problem, in my view, and it couldn't come at a worse time. How does your party solve that?
Well, look, I think, again, we the people are solving the problem. If we look over the last 6 to 8, 10 years, what you're seeing is this new breed of Republicans, and I call us populist Republicans. We're out there trying to do the will of the people. The Republican Party is becoming the party of hardworking Americans that take a lunch pail to work. We're the party of small businesses. We're the party of union workers now. So I think as we see this transition of the Republican Party, you're going to see us come back together. But you're right. You are witnessing a transition between the old guard and the new guard. But again, it's up to the American people. We see lots more of these old guard that are starting to retire, and so be it. But I think that this new guard is going to be loud and strong. We're going to be standing with President Trump. We're going to secure the border. We're going to fight inflation. We're going to make your family safer and sounder. We're going to protect your God-given constitutional rights. So you're right. There's a transition happening. Maybe it's ugly. It's playing out on your front page every day, but we're going to be there fighting for Americans back home.
Senator Roger Marshall, always good to catch up, sir. Thank you very much. Now